Welcome to Kieu Dung channel. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to support me in creating more meaningful videos. Today, we walk alongside Sung, Luyen, and James as they make their way to visit little Q Zung at her school. A simple journey, yet filled with tenderness and love. It is early morning, and the first sunlight gently slips through the leaves along the mountainside. Sung Luyen stands by the roadside, the cool morning breeze brushing through her hair, her eyes quietly following the winding road ahead. Moments later, James's car appears in the distance. He pulls up in front of her, offering a gentle, comforting smile. She steps into the car, and together they begin the long drive down the mountain to pick up little Q Zung. A new day opening with warmth, hope, and the promise of simple joys. When they arrive at the school, Sung Luyen steps into the classroom to find little Kieu Dung waiting with bright, excited eyes. The moment she sees her mother, the girl runs toward her with a joyful smile, wrapping her tiny arms around her. Hand in hand, they walk back to the car where James is waiting. He opens the door gently, helping the child climb in. Soon, the three of them are on their way to a nearby play area, a small haven filled with colors, laughter, and the sounds of children at play. For them, this simple outing is more than a trip. It is a moment of togetherness, a reminder of how precious every shared morning can be. They finally arrive at a large shop in the center of the town, a place filled with warm lights, neatly arranged shelves, and the gentle hum of morning customers. As soon as they step inside, little Kieu Dung holds tight to her mother's hand, her eyes widening with wonder. She has rarely seen so many colors gathered in one place. Rows of children's outfits, small shoes lined up like treasures, soft jackets, bright dresses, and tiny accessories all waiting to be touched. Sung Luyen crouches beside her daughter and gently brushes her hair aside. She lifts a small sky blue dress from the rack and holds it up. "Do you like this one?" she asks softly. The girl nods shyly, her cheeks warming with excitement. James watches the moment from a short distance, his smile growing as he sees the joy blossoming on the child's face. He moves closer and starts looking through the shelves himself. One by one, he checks the fabrics, the sizes, the colors. He picks up a soft cream sweater and turns to the two of them. "This might be good for colder days," he says, his voice calm and warm. He kneels down to gently measure it against the girl's shoulders. She giggles, slightly hiding behind her mother, but unable to hide her happiness. For a while, the three of them move slowly around the store. No rush, no pressure. It feels like they are not just buying clothes, but choosing small pieces of a better future for the little girl. Every garment they pick carries a quiet hope, a blessing, a simple wish that her life will be filled with comfort and care. Sung Luyen lifts another outfit, a small white shirt with tiny flower patterns softly embroidered along the sleeves. She imagines her daughter wearing it on a new school day, feeling confident, feeling loved. She gently presses the fabric between her fingers, appreciating how soft it is. Moments like this remind her how precious childhood is and how fragile. James, noticing her thoughtful expression, places another item into their shopping basket, a pair of pink shoes with tiny bows on top. She'll walk more comfortably in these, and he means it, not as a simple suggestion, but as a gesture of quiet responsibility. Little Kieu Dung moves closer to a mirror nearby. James takes one of the small jackets they chose, the light pink one, and helps her slip her arms into it. Once it's on, she looks at her reflection and her smile grows impossibly bright. After buying new clothes for little Kieu Dung, the three of them make their way toward the staircase leading up to the second floor. The moment they reach the top, a burst of colors greets them. Rows of toys, soft carpets, miniature houses, slides, picture books, and cheerful decorations hanging from the ceiling. The space feels alive with warmth, designed perfectly for a child's imagination to run free. As soon as they step inside, Kieu Dung loosens her grip from her mother's hand and walks forward slowly, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. She looks around, overwhelmed in the best way. Then, suddenly, she turns into a burst of excitement, running toward a small play kitchen set. She picks up a tiny wooden spoon and pretends to stir in an imaginary pot, glancing back at James and Sung Luyen as if inviting them to admire her little world. Sung Luyen laughs softly, kneeling down beside her daughter. "What are you cooking?" she asks gently. The girl giggles, handing her mother a pretend bowl as if serving a special dish. James watches the two of them from a step away, smiling at how naturally joy seems to grow in this place. A few minutes later, they move toward a small slide. It is nothing fancy, just a short slope with padded steps, but to a child, it is an adventure. James lifts Kieu Dung onto the top of the slide. She hesitates for a moment, gripping the sides, then pushes herself forward. She slides down with a delighted squeal, landing softly on the padded floor. She laughs so loudly that even a few nearby children turn to smile. James claps lightly. "Good job," he says with warm encouragement. He helps her climb again, letting her slide down as many times as she wants. For him, watching her joy is worth more than anything else he could be doing today. In another corner of the room, there are building blocks stacked high like tiny towers. Kieu Dung rushes over and begins knocking them down, then stacking them again with her small, determined hands. Sung Luyen sits beside her, guiding her gently whenever the blocks wobble. James joins them, adding a few blocks of his own, creating a little house together, a tiny structure built with shared laughter and simple love. Time passes slowly, softly. There is no rush, no deadlines, no heavy worries. Only the sound of a child giggling, the soft thud of toys being lifted and put down, and the gentle murmur of two adults who deeply care about her. In these small, quiet minutes, life feels complete. At one point, Kieu Dung finds a shelf filled with picture books. She picks one with bright animal illustrations and brings it to James. He sits down on the carpet, and she climbs into his lap as naturally as if she has done so for years. He begins to read, slowly and clearly, pointing at each animal as he pronounces the words. The girl listens closely, repeating after him with her tiny voice. Sung Luyen watches from the side, her heart swelling with gratitude. Seeing her daughter learning, laughing, and feeling safe, it's a priceless moment, one she wishes could last forever. They spend a long while on that colorful floor, building, reading, exploring, laughing. It is not the toys themselves that make the moment special, but the presence of love, care, and togetherness. Whether rich or poor, whether in the mountains or in the town, the value of life remains the same. Being together, cherishing each other, and giving a child memories filled with warmth. As the morning slowly drifts toward noon, they gather their things, preparing to leave the play area. But before they go, Kieu Dung runs back to the slide for one last ride. She glides down with pure joy, her laughter echoing across the room, like a small reminder that happiness often comes from the simplest things. James extends his hand, and she takes it without hesitation.
With new clothes in the bag and a heart full of joy, the three of them walk back down the stairs, carrying with them moments of sweetness that will linger long after the day is over.
James orders a few sweet drinks, something cool and refreshing after a long morning of laughter and play. Little Q Zung holds her cup with both hands, sipping slowly, her eyes sparkling with lingering excitement. They sit together on a nearby bench, enjoying a quiet moment of rest. No one speaks much. They simply breathe in the calm, grateful for the simple joy of being together. After finishing their drinks, James stands up with a smile, brushing off his hands. Luyen lifts Kieu Dung into her arms, and the girl leans her head gently on her mother's shoulder. With hearts full and spirits warm, they begin their journey back home. When they finally arrive back at the small house on the mountain, the world feels quieter, softer. Birds chirp gently from the trees above, and a cool breeze drifts through the yard, carrying the scent of pine and fresh earth. The peacefulness of the mountain wraps around them like a gentle blanket, easing away the tiredness of the long trip. James sets the bags down and kneels beside little Kieu Dung. He takes out the new clothes they bought earlier, smoothing the fabric with care. With a warm smile, he helps her slip into the pink jacket they had chosen together. The moment she feels the soft material around her shoulders, her face brightens with pure, innocent joy. She twirls once in front of him, admiring her reflection in the small window, then looks up at James with a shy but glowing smile. To her, this isn't just a new jacket. It is a gift filled with love, generosity, and kindness. Luyen watches them from the doorway, her heart warming at the sight. In this quiet mountain home, surrounded by nature and simple peace, the value of life feels clear. Love given with sincerity always finds its way back. The three of them soon begin preparing lunch together, each taking on a small task that turns the simple meal into a shared moment of warmth. James heads toward the bamboo grove behind the house, where thin green stalks swayed gently in the mountain breeze. He selects a small, sturdy piece of bamboo and cuts it carefully, then sits on a flat stone to shave it smooth. The sound of his knife gliding along the bamboo blends beautifully with the rustling leaves overhead. Back near the kitchen fire, the flames are already crackling softly, waiting for the meal to begin. James takes the meat they bought earlier, washes it thoroughly in a wooden basin, and begins slicing it into thin, even pieces. Each slice falls neatly onto the board, ready to be marinated by the natural flavor of smoke and bamboo. Meanwhile, inside the small kitchen, Luyen and little Kieu Dung are busy with their own preparations. They rinse fresh herbs picked from the hillside garden, fragrant mint, basil, and forest greens. Their hands move gently but cheerfully as they sort the leaves, the mother teaching the daughter which ones smell sweetest. They also peel a few ripe bananas, setting them aside to roast later over the red-hot charcoal. The little Kieu Dung watches every step with fascination, feeling proud to be part of the meal. James returns with the bamboo skewer, now smooth and clean. He threads the thin slices of meat onto it one by one, arranging them carefully so they will roast evenly. The simple act feels grounding and ancient, a reminder of how people have cooked in the mountains for generations. As the food continued to sizzle over the glowing charcoal,
James unfolded a small cloth and spread it across a smooth stone, turning it into a makeshift table. From his bag, he carefully took out a few sheets of paper, 2 pencils, and a small notebook he had been saving for moments like this. He looked at Sung Luyen and little Kieu Dung with a warm smile and gently called them over. They came and sat beside him, the soft mountain breeze brushing their faces, carrying the mingled scents of forest leaves and drifting smoke from the grill. James began by writing simple letters on the paper, slow, deliberate strokes that even a beginner could follow. A, B, C. He pronounced each one clearly, watching their eyes focus with curiosity. Kieu Dung leaned forward, repeating the sounds with innocent enthusiasm. Sometimes she said them correctly, sometimes she twisted the sounds into something funny, then burst into laughter that echoed playfully through the quiet mountain air. James chuckled and lightly positioned her tiny fingers around the pencil. He said, "Just hold it gently like this, not too tight, not too loose." The little girl tried again, her pencil wobbling over the page, creating letters that were crooked and uneven, but full of pure determination. Each time she finished a letter, she glanced up for approval, and James nodded encouragingly, giving her the confidence to keep going. Beside them, Sung Luyen listened closely, her eyes soft, almost emotional. She followed along carefully, imitating the shapes of the letters with a quiet diligence. For her, this wasn't just learning, it was stepping into a world she had always felt too far from. James guided her patiently, explaining the sounds, showing her how to connect one letter to another. Every time she succeeded, even in a small way, her face brightened with a humble pride. He told them stories about places he had visited, how reading allowed people to understand the world, to learn from others, to shape their own lives. He said, "Once you can read, doors begin to open. You'll find answers, ideas, and dreams waiting on the pages of books." Little Kieu Dung listened with wide eyes, slowly tracing letters with her fingertip, as if imagining the stories hidden behind them. Sung Luyen placed an arm around her daughter, grateful for this simple but precious moment, something she never thought she would witness in such a peaceful corner of the mountains. The fire crackled softly nearby, and the aroma of grilled meat grew richer, drifting around them like an invitation. Birds chirped overhead, and the sunlight shimmered through the treetops, wrapping the scene in warmth. Time moved slowly, beautifully, as the three of them shared laughter, learning, hope, and the quiet and gentle values of life in the heart of nature.
As the rich aroma of roasted meat signaled that everything was finally cooked, the three of them returned to the outdoor kitchen. James carefully lifted the skewers from the grill, while Sung Luyen brought out the fresh herbs and roasted bananas. Little Q Zung followed closely behind, proudly carrying a small bowl as if she were helping with the most important task in the world. They moved quickly but joyfully, arranging the food on a simple wooden table set under the open sky. The meal wasn't grand or fancy, yet it carried the warmth of the mountains, the smoky grilled meat, the fragrant herbs, the sweetness of roasted fruit, all prepared by their own hands. The sunlight filtered gently through the trees, casting soft patterns over the table, making the moment feel even more peaceful. Once everything was ready, the three of them sat down together. James bowed his head, and the others followed. In the quietness of the mountains, their voices rose softly in a short prayer of gratitude, thankful for the food, for the day, and for the chance to be together. When they lifted their heads again, smiles spread naturally across their faces. They began eating, sharing each dish with excitement. Laughter blended with the mountain breeze as Kieu Dung tasted the roasted banana and giggled in delight. Each bite felt richer because it was made with care, shared with love, and enjoyed in the simplicity of nature. Moments like this, gathered around one humble table, united in gratitude and joy, were the true treasures of life. If you enjoyed this peaceful journey with them, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more heartwarming stories.